The day began like any other in the bustling corporate office, where the hum of productivity mixed with the undertone of tension. Employees moved swiftly between desks and meeting rooms, carrying laptops and folders as they rushed to meet deadlines. In one corner of the open-plan office, the black employee sat focused and poised, fingers dancing over the keyboard as they polished the final touches on a critical report. Their work had garnered quiet admiration among colleagues, though it was often overshadowed by an unspoken tension that stemmed from the higher-ups, especially the boss. This wasn't just any project. The report represented a significant opportunity for the company, poised to secure a major deal that could cement their place as a market leader. The employees' commitment and expertise shone through in their work, a testament to years of hard-earned experience and an unyielding drive to succeed. Colleagues occasionally passed by, offering nods of encouragement, but one pair of eyes bore into them with a mix of disdain and suspicion. The boss's. In his tailored suit and commanding posture, the boss radiated an air of authority that masked his insecurity. He had climbed the corporate ladder with a combination of savvy and privilege, but the employee's meteoric rise within the company stirred feelings he couldn't ignore. How could someone from such a background achieve so much? It wasn't just envy. It was a deep-seated bias that colored every interaction he had with the employee. To him, their competence was an affront, a challenge to the unspoken rules of power and hierarchy in the workplace. From across the office, the boss's sharp gaze landed on the employee. His smirk betrayed his thoughts as he leaned back in his chair, considering his next move. The boss had made his feelings clear through subtle digs and dismissive comments in the past, but this time he intended to send a stronger message. It was time to remind the employee who held the power. "Can you step into my office?" The words cut through the ambient noise, drawing the employee's attention. Heads turned subtly as the employee rose, their calm demeanor masking the unease growing in their chest. The walk to the office felt longer than usual, and each step was met with curious glances from co-workers who sensed the brewing storm. Inside the boss's office, the atmosphere shifted. The sleek decor and city views from the expansive windows couldn't mask the coldness of the conversation. The boss wasted no time with pleasantries, diving straight into his rehearsed speech. He accused the employee of insubordination, of failing to meet company standards, and finally, of being a poor cultural fit. The words were as sharp as they were baseless, a calculated attempt to undermine the employee's confidence and justify the inevitable conclusion. "You're fired," the boss said, leaning back in his chair with a look of satisfaction. He expected anger, pleading, or perhaps defeat, but the employee surprised him. They stood tall, their voice steady as they calmly questioned the rationale behind the decision. Every response from the boss was evasive, his smirk only growing as he dismissed the employee's concerns. The employee walked out of the office with their head held high, their dignity intact. Colleagues whispered among themselves, some looking away in guilt, while others exchanged knowing glances of disapproval. The boss watched from his perch, feeling triumphant, but completely unaware of the storm that was about to upend his world. The employee's journey to the sleek corporate office had been anything but easy. A self-made professional, they had navigated systemic barriers, financial hardships, and a world that often underestimated their potential. Their position wasn't handed to them. It was earned through years of relentless hard work, late nights, and an unshakable belief in their abilities. Every project they tackled, every challenge they overcame, was a testament to their resilience and drive. Yet, their workplace wasn't free of challenges. Subtle jabs about their qualifications, constant scrutiny, and the sting of being passed over for praise were a regular part of their day. The boss, in particular, seemed determined to overshadow their achievements. Meetings often became a stage for the boss's dismissive remarks, turning moments of triumph into exercises in restraint. Despite these obstacles, the employee remained focused, pouring their energy into their work and dreaming of a future where their skills and potential could shine without hindrance. In private moments, the employee allowed themselves to dream bigger. They envisioned starting their own business, creating a company culture where merit, not bias, dictated success. They pictured a workplace where others like them could thrive without fear of being silenced or undervalued. For now, they remained committed to their current role, believing that their work could speak louder than the whispers of prejudice. The boss, on the other hand, was a product of privilege and entitlement. He had inherited his position, climbing the corporate ladder with more ease than effort. To him, the office was not just a workplace, but a kingdom, and he ruled it with an iron fist masked by corporate niceties. Diversity in the workplace was, in his eyes, a challenge to the established order, a disruption to the status quo he sought to preserve. For years, the boss had cultivated a toxic dynamic in the office, bolstered by those who feared his authority. He had a knack for downplaying the achievements of those who didn't fit his narrow vision of success, especially the employee. Rumors about the employee's performance were carefully seeded among colleagues, subtle enough to avoid confrontation but damaging enough to cast doubt. The boss's insecurity was his driving force. The employee's competence and rising reputation unsettled him, challenging his own sense of superiority. Each project the employee excelled at felt like an affront, a reminder of his own mediocrity, disguised behind power and privilege. In his mind, the employee's success was not just undeserved, it was intolerable. And so, the boss dedicated himself to undermining them at every opportunity, ensuring they never reached the heights they were capable of. Their paths, though starkly different, were about to collide in a way that neither could have anticipated. For one, it would mark the end of a reign built on prejudice. For the other, it would be the beginning of a journey toward justice and self-realization. The day unfolded like any other in the bustling corporate office. Phones rang incessantly, keyboards clattered, and employees rushed to meet tight deadlines. In the corner of the open-plan space, a talented black employee sat focused at their desk, meticulously refining a crucial project. The report they had been working on for weeks held the potential to secure a major client for the company, one that could boost its revenue for years. Yet despite their consistent performance and dedication, the undercurrent of unease in the air hinted that today wouldn't end like any other day. Across the room, the boss observed the employee through narrowed eyes, their expression twisted with disdain. Known for their sharp tongue and questionable professionalism, the boss had always been an imposing figure. But their prejudice, masked under the guise of authority, was no secret to those who worked closely with them. It was evident in their dismissive tone during meetings, their reluctance to acknowledge the employees' contributions, and their persistent habit of assigning credit for their successes to others. By mid-morning, the boss made their move. They summoned the employee to their corner office, a glass-encased space that loomed over the workspace like a throne room. The employee, sensing something amiss, took a deep breath before entering. Inside, the atmosphere was cold and tense, The boss sat with a smug smile, gesturing for the employee to take a seat. "We need to talk," the boss began, their tone laced with feigned authority. "I've been reviewing your work, and frankly, I'm not impressed." The employee, taken aback, furrowed their brow. They had just received praise from colleagues about the project that was nearly finalized, a project that could change the trajectory of the company. "I'm not sure I understand," they replied calmly, though their voice carried a hint of confusion. The boss leaned forward, their smirk growing wider. "It's simple. You're not a good fit for this company. Your attitude, your performance, everything has been lacking. I've decided to let you go, effective immediately." The words hit like a sledgehammer, and the employees struggled to maintain their composure. A dozen questions swirled in their mind. Was this because of the project's success? Did the boss feel threatened by their growing influence in the office? Or was this simply another act of petty prejudice, another attempt to clip their wings before they soared too high? Despite the sting of humiliation, the employee refused to give the boss the satisfaction of seeing them crumble. "I've worked hard here, and I've delivered results," they said, their voice steady but firm. "You may take my job, but you can't take my worth." The boss chuckled, the sound dripping with condescension. "Let's see how far that worth gets you without this job," they said, dismissing the employee with a wave of their hand. The employee stood tall, gathering their belongings and stepping out of the office with their dignity intact. Their colleagues watched in stunned silence, whispers of disbelief rippling through the room. Many knew of the boss's discriminatory tendencies but feared speaking out, reluctant to jeopardize their own positions. Outside the office, the employee paused, taking a moment to steady themselves. The pain of being unjustly fired burned like a hot coal in their chest, but it also ignited something deeper: resolve. This was not the end of their story. If anything, it was the beginning of a chapter they hadn't yet dared to write. News of the firing spread quickly, reaching even the upper echelons of the company's hierarchy. Unbeknownst to the boss, the employee had cultivated a network of allies over the years, colleagues and clients who recognized their talent and work ethic. Text messages and calls of support began flooding in, with some offering advice and others pledging assistance. By evening, the employee was seated at their dining table, reviewing their options. The boss's parting words echoed in their mind: "You'll never make it without this job." It was a challenge they were more than ready to accept. Recalling an old business idea they had nurtured but never pursued, they decided to take the plunge. They contacted mentors, reached out to industry connections, and began drafting a plan to turn their vision into reality. Meanwhile, back at the office, the boss celebrated their supposed victory, completely unaware of the storm brewing just beyond their reach. They boasted to their inner circle about cleaning house and taking decisive action, believing they had rid themselves of a potential threat. But the very foundation of their power, built on prejudice and arrogance, was about to crumble beneath their feet. The day after the firing, the air in the office was thick with tension. The absence of the employee whose contributions had been vital to the company's operations was immediately felt. Tasks began to pile up, projects stalled, and clients grew impatient. Yet the boss, smug and self-assured, dismissed the chaos as a temporary setback. What they failed to realize was that their arrogant decision had set in motion a chain of events that would soon shake the very foundation of the company. Outside the office, the fired employee was already pivoting toward a new future. For months, they had been quietly building a passion project on the side, a business idea rooted in innovation and fueled by their desire to bring positive change to the industry. Although it had remained a dream while they balanced the demands of their job, the unjust firing provided the push they needed to turn it into reality. With a renewed sense of determination, the employee reached out to their network. Former colleagues who had long admired their work ethic offered their expertise. Clients who had once trusted the employee with critical projects expressed their willingness to follow them into this new endeavor. Mentors stepped in, providing invaluable advice and resources to help navigate the complexities of launching a business. The employee's vision began to take shape, fueled by the collective support of those who believed in their talent and integrity. Meanwhile, cracks were forming in the boss's empire. Clients began voicing concerns about the quality of service they were receiving. Deliverables were delayed, and the absence of the employee's meticulous oversight became glaringly apparent. Some clients decided to take their business elsewhere, unwilling to tolerate the growing inefficiencies. Unbeknownst to the boss, many of those clients were choosing to work with the employee's fledgling venture instead. As the employee's business gained momentum, it became clear that their vision resonated deeply with the industry. Their ability to deliver results, paired with a genuine commitment to fairness and collaboration, set their venture apart. The buzz around their success began to ripple through professional circles, reaching even those within the boss's inner network. The boss, still oblivious to the brewing storm, continued to bask in their perceived victory. They boasted about cleaning house and weeding out employees who didn't fit their narrow mold. But their hubris blinded them to the reality unfolding around them. Every lost client and missed opportunity was a direct result of their failure to recognize the value of the person they had so carelessly discarded. In the weeks that followed, the gap between the boss's declining company and the employee's thriving venture grew impossible to ignore. For the first time, the boss began to question whether their decision had been a misstep. Little did they know, the full extent of their mistake was about to be revealed in a way they could never have anticipated. The employee's rise was nothing short of extraordinary. Liberated from the oppressive confines of their previous workplace, they channeled every ounce of their energy into building a business that reflected their values of inclusivity, innovation, and respect. The initial days were challenging, filled with late nights and uncertainty, but the employees' dedication and vision were unwavering. They started small, reaching out to their network of mentors, former colleagues, and even clients who had always admired their work ethic. Slowly but surely, their venture began to take shape. What started as a modest initiative quickly gained momentum. Word of the employees' expertise and professionalism spread through the industry, attracting attention from clients eager to work with someone whose talent was matched by their integrity. The turning point came when one of their first projects earned widespread acclaim, establishing their business as a force to be reckoned with. The employee's company became known not only for its innovative solutions, but also for creating a healthy, empowering work environment, qualities that set it apart from competitors. As their business flourished, the employee's success began to outshine their former employer. Clients who had once been loyal to the boss's company started to sever ties, drawn instead to the employee's burgeoning firm. Former colleagues, disillusioned with the toxic environment they had endured, sought opportunities to work under the employee's leadership. The company expanded rapidly, growing into an industry leader in record time. Media outlets began covering the story of their rise, presenting the employee as a shining example of resilience and justice. Meanwhile, the boss's downfall was both swift and public. Without the employee's dedication and expertise, the company began to crumble under the weight of its own dysfunction. Clients, frustrated with missed deadlines and poor service, started to leave en masse. Stories of the boss's discriminatory behavior and oppressive management style spread like wildfire, further tarnishing the company's already fragile reputation. Employee turnover skyrocketed as talented professionals sought out workplaces where their contributions would be valued. In a desperate bid to salvage what was left, the boss took an unthinkable step, reaching out to the employee they had once humiliated. The meeting was arranged under the guise of a potential partnership or reconciliation, but the power dynamic had shifted entirely. The boss, once smug and overconfident, now seemed deflated and desperate. They pleaded for collaboration, offering a formal apology and a proposal to join forces in the hope of reviving their crumbling company. The employee, now a confident and accomplished leader, listened patiently. They acknowledged the apology but declined the offer with grace, delivering a line that would resonate for years to come. Respect is earned, not demanded. The boss left the meeting humiliated, forced to reckon with the full extent of their mistakes. Under the employees' leadership, their company continued to thrive. They became a trailblazer in the industry, setting new standards for fairness and excellence. But their success wasn't just about financial growth. It was about creating opportunities for others. The employee established mentorship programs for young professionals, advocating for workplace equity and diversity. Their story inspired countless others to stand up against injustice, proving that resilience and integrity could lead to lasting change. The boss's company, on the other hand, faded into irrelevance. Once a dominant force, it became a cautionary tale of how arrogance and prejudice could lead to ruin. Meanwhile, the employee's company stood as a beacon of hope, a testament to what could be achieved when talent and kindness were given room to flourish. Their journey wasn't just a personal triumph, it was a movement, igniting a ripple effect that transformed an entire industry. The employee stood in their sunlit office, a place that symbolized not just success but resilience and transformation. The view from the window overlooked a bustling city, a reminder of the journey that had brought them here. The once distant dream of leading their own company had become a vibrant reality, built on the principles of respect, inclusivity, and innovation. Every corner of the office buzzed with energy, filled with employees who felt valued and inspired under their leadership. The employees' rise to prominence wasn't just a personal victory. It was a powerful example of what could happen when talent and integrity were given a chance to flourish. The company had become a haven for creative ideas and ambitious professionals, many of whom had left toxic environments to find a place where their contributions truly mattered. It wasn't just a workplace. It was a movement, a living testament to the belief that people thrive when given the respect and opportunities they deserve. Meanwhile, the boss's story had taken a very different turn. The once dominant company that had thrived on outdated hierarchies and prejudice had crumbled. Clients had fled, employees had resigned, and its tarnished reputation left it vulnerable to dissolution. Eventually, the company was sold off in fragments, leaving the boss to reflect on their downfall. The very arrogance and discrimination they had wielded so confidently had been their undoing, serving as a stark reminder of how quickly power could fade when it was built on shaky foundations. The employee, however, was focused on the future. They had established mentorship programs, scholarships, and initiatives to uplift underrepresented voices in the industry. Their work extended far beyond their business, inspiring others to pursue their dreams, despite the obstacles they might face. The ripple effect of their leadership was felt throughout the industry, prompting conversations about workplace equity and ethical management. The final scene unfolded as the employee walked through their thriving office, greeted by smiles and gratitude from their team. They paused to reflect on the path that had brought them here, from the pain of being unjustly fired to the triumph of building something extraordinary. The journey hadn't been easy, but every challenge had shaped them into the leader they were now. As the employee returned to their desk, a plaque on the wall caught their eye. It bore a quote they had chosen to represent the company's mission. "True leadership is earned through respect and the courage to create change." The story ended with a powerful line, spoken with quiet conviction. "They thought they could hold me down, but they only gave me the wings to fly."